Had to take a drink of my Coke. Hey guys, what's happening? It is a Jer Bear. Welcome to this edition of the Daily Rant. Today's date is Thursday, April 1st, 2021. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Welcome to April. I hope you had a positive start to the new month. My day was busy. I had to go pay bills, and my van is still sitting at the shop in Owasso. I'm still waiting for them to get the parts and to get it into the fucking garage, because when I was in Owasso today and I stopped by the garage, it was still parked in the very same place where I put it, didn't move an inch. I didn't realize he had so many other jobs ahead of mine, and, it's still sitting there and I'm still waiting. But they're going to give me a call, let me know when my van's finished. It needs a new outer tie rod end and a lower control arm. So it's going to set me back about maybe a little over $400 to get it done. But it needs to be done. And there's other repairs, just general wear and tear that I have to take care of. It needs an oil change. I got to get some new brake pads for it. Let's see what else. Probably going to have to get a new alternator for it, because I noticed the serpentine belt squeaks when it runs and eventually the van stalls. So it's either a new alternator or just a new belt, perhaps. I have no idea. I'm not a mechanic. But I'm hoping to get these problems fixed and out of the way, and I'm still awaiting my stimulus check. Probably sometime this weekend is what I heard. No later than April 7th. And today being April Fool's Day, my dad, he's been getting lots of people. He didn't get me yet. He didn't get me. He thought he did, but he didn't. Love you, Dad, but you didn't get me. He got my brother. He got Amy. He got, I think that's it. Just my brother and Amy. So generally today what I'm going to rant about is no different than what I've ever talked about before, so I'll just save you the trouble of, having to sit through this for however long I'm going to be here, and tell you that I'm going to be talking about childhood cancer again, and I'm going to be talking about people again. So if you don't want to listen to it, now's the chance to just click out of the video and go about your merry day and find something else to watch on YouTube, because what I'm going to talk about is just a regurgitation of things I've already talked about before. So to get people, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. So what I'm going to talk about, what I've talked about many, 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 many times before, is the way the so-called quote-unquote advocates, air quotes, advocates, activists, are using childhood cancer to sponge attention. They're using the awareness to sponge attention. And I got to tell you, I'm still, it drives me crazy, because something that is so obvious, it's right in front of your face, you can't see it, or you do see it and you just turn the other cheek. And it's really dishonest, and it's really foul, and it's really just gross. It's really awful. And there's people, activists and advocates in the childhood cancer world. They are constantly fawned over. They're competing with one another. These are the look at me types on Facebook. Like, look what I did. I preyed on someone's weakness, and now I look bigger compared to them. These people are insecure, leeching motherfucking jackasses. And that's Tom Mitchell, that's Ken Betancourt, that's Milk Tyson, that's Ronnie Duvall. It's most people who want to, use people's kids to make themselves look like big shots. And, and the thing that really, I've noticed this too, most of, when it comes to guys who are advocates, activists, or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, because it makes them feel better. It's just virtue signaling, if anything. But most of these people who are being lorded over, and they're being, genuflected to, these men, guys, little boys, insecure little fucking boys, they're being they're being feathered over by women. It's women, married women at that. And it's like, wait a minute. You have no problem bowing down, kissing the ground that Tom Mitchell walks. I'm going to use Tom Mitchell as a prime example. You have no problem getting down, kissing his feet, kissing his ass, sucking his balls, whatever. You have no problem doing that. You're putting him on a pedestal, but you don't realize that you're lowering yourself beneath him. You're devaluing yourself by putting him on a pedestal because, oh, look what he does and look what he can do. And I'll tell you right now, nobody should give a fuck what he does. Nobody should care what he does at all, ever. So he has a nonprofit organization and he helps sick kids. Or what, he doesn't, let me rephrase that. He doesn't help sick kids. He pays for mortgage. It's his nonprofit organization. He doesn't do it. The nonprofit organization does it. Pays for mortgages and groceries and, car repairs and all this other shit that any person could do, which, by the way, I've done, and I don't need a nonprofit organization. I've helped lots of people. But this guy, he can't help people without actually, looking like some kind of a big shot on social media. And, I'm going to tell you, these people, the Tom Mitchells and Milk Tysons and Ronnie Duvalls in the world, I'm telling you, they are opportunists. They view children as pawns in their fucking game of popularity and competition, and you guys have to start looking at this from a more broader perspective. This is not about childhood cancer. This is not even about you. It's about them. They are the me's of childhood cancer. And I know, generally speaking in the world, there's lots of people like that, but we're not talking about generally speaking in the world. We're talking about childhood cancer awareness and advocacy. Which, by the way, if you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome aboard. I am a childhood cancer survivor, but I'm not an advocate. I used to be, but I gave it up. And with a great sigh of relief, I had given it up. I relinquished my so-called advocate title because I found out long down the road that it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's virtue signaling, if anything. How many other people do you think Tom Mitchell would ever admit that he's virtue signaling? You think Milk Tyson or Ronnie Duvall would ever admit that they're virtue signaling? There's a lot of motherfuckers out there who are doing this for the praise and the notoriety. They're not going to admit that they're virtue signaling and they're just using people's kids to make themselves look good. They use children as leverage and to their advantage for prestige and popularity. Why am I the only one who ever speaks up about shit like this? Everybody else is too fucking afraid to talk about this and to mention people by name. I don't give a fuck. Congratulations, you found someone who actually does not give a shit. Because I've had to sit and watch this same bullshit unfold for any number of years and no one said a fucking word about it. No one bothered to say anything. I gave up advocacy on my own terms because of the fact that, yes, September's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Okay, big fucking deal. I felt like a used car salesman and I had a very shitty sales pitch. Another day, another childhood cancer related post in September. So what else is new? Another day at the office. Who cares? Nobody gives a fuck, first of all. Second of all, I think it's safe to say that the world is very fucking aware of childhood cancer. If the world is aware of cancer in general, if we're going to go to that again, then you should be well fucking aware that cancer also affects children. And all this talk about, oh, I'm very aggressive about childhood cancer. Listen, just hear me out. These people are not aggressive people. I'm sorry, they're not aggressive. Those are power words. Those are words that make them look big and feel big and feel as if they are fucking, magnificent hulks of childhood cancer, and they're going to do something. They're going to take charge. I'm telling you, these people are playing on your emotions. You got to get that out of your head. You got to remove yourself from that perpetual loop of nonsense and bullshit. These people aren't going to do shit. They're not going to do a fucking thing. You know what they're going to do? They're going to be too busy chalking up all their wins. Oh, I won over the hearts of this person, this person, this person, this person. They're going to kiss my ass and suck my balls, and they're going to make me look great and feel great, and oh, I feel so warm and fuzzy because someone puts me on a pedestal. These people are insecure. They use your children as marketing tools. They don't give a fuck about your kids, not in the way that you think they do. Because I'm going to tell you something. You can genuinely give a fuck about somebody, and then you can pretend to genuinely give a fuck about somebody. And I'm going to distinguish that for you. I'm going to dissect that. As for myself, I genuinely give a fuck about people. Being a childhood cancer survivor, I genuinely give a shit about these kids. And I'm not looking for anything for myself in return. Never have I ever. Not once. I never asked for anything in return. Nothing. No expectation whatsoever. None. I've lived the experience of childhood cancer. I know what the fuck it is. I know what these kids are going through because I've had to go through that as well. Whether people like it or not, that's exactly what I've had to do. I didn't like it, but I had to. I had no choice. And these people, they talk as if we had a choice, that there were other options, there's other avenues. Well, you don't have to have cancer. You don't have to go through all that. We had no other choice. And sometimes you have no other fucking choice. But anyway, I'm getting off track. There's a difference between actually genuinely giving a fuck about people versus these people who claim to give a fuck about you and your kids, genuinely give a fuck, but then they post about it on Facebook. Then they want to post their successes and their little stories, and they like to embellish like Tom Mitchell does. He embellishes every fucking story ever because it resonates with you and how you think and how you perceive things, especially women. Especially women. He knows how to play one over on people, just like Mike Tyson. He bought his way into the hearts and minds of so many gullible fucking people. Gullible. You people are fucking gullible. You're kissing each other's ass. You're sucking each other's balls. You guys need to fucking chill. You need to cool it. Because you're not doing anything for anyone but making yourself look bigger than what you really are. And that to me is dishonest. Tom Mitchell lied about me on Facebook. He fostered this rumor and all this nonsense, this bullshit on his Still Brave page about me. Now, someone of his caliber, quote unquote, someone who wants to be respected, he thinks he's deserving of respect and recognition. He thinks that he's deserving of a lot of things, apparently. But he's willing to lie about someone even though he wants to be revered as someone who's honest and perceptive of things. And I'm just, that doesn't work. You're gonna foster a lie about me. Spread this around to your sheep, your blind fucking following ass motherfucking moron clan and group or whatever you want to call them, Two Feathers cult. But you want to be revered as someone who's positive and truthful, someone who's a man of his word, integrity, that word that everybody likes to preach but they can't practice it. Why would people revere someone who's a fucking liar? Why would anyone revere someone who is a fucking straight up liar? Mike Tyson, same way. Same fucking way. What did he do? He gave a bunch of money to a bunch of people. He had to buy every fucking friendship he's ever had. Although it's been proven that he's a sex predator and people still allow him around their kids and they defend him. Listen, the only attention you should ever try to get, especially if you're a woman, this is for the married women out there who are revering the Tom Mitchells and Milk Tysons in the world. If you're married, if you have a husband or a boyfriend or a partner in general, the only attention you should be trying to get is your fucking partner. Not, Tom Mitchell, Milk Tyson, Randy Ball, none of these other people. Now, most people give me a lot of shit because I use sexual innuendos when I'm referring to this. You guys are really, you're on his ball sack like a fucking flea on a dog, And they don't like that innuendo. They don't like that analogy. But it's the fucking truth. It's the truth. You guys, especially women, you have no problem deep-throating, and you become a sycophant to Tom Mitchell and Milk Tyson and all these other guys who are ego-driven. They're not doing this for you because they're going to forget you. At the end of the day, you're just going to be another plus one. You're going to be another supply of their narcissistic fucking tendency and personality. This is what's happening. They are using your kids as look at me moments. It's not about you. I'm telling you, and I'm sorry that you are disheartened by this. I'm sorry that you don't have to agree with me now. One day you will. I guarantee you will. But this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about, and I'm not saying this to make people feel as if, oh, nobody really cares. No, there are people out there who genuinely give a fuck. They really care about you and your kids. But not these people. Not Tom Mitchell, not Milk Tyson, not Ronnie Duvall. These people are driven by ego and ego alone. Because if they really and truly gave a fuck about you, they wouldn't have to plaster it all over their social media. Anytime I have ever helped people, now you may think that I haven't helped anyone. I've helped lots of people. Okay? I've helped lots of people, more than what most people want to imagine or think. I've helped a lot of people in my life in the childhood cancer world. The reason you never hear about it, the reason that you never see, Jared Fuller helps this person, that person, whatever, is because I asked them to not mention my name. I asked them to not include my name in a gesture, in anything I can do to help somebody else, because I care more about them as people, as individuals. I'm not using them or their children to compete with other people. See, I won over the hearts and minds of these people. That makes me special. That makes me, no. The conversations that I have with a lot of these parents, even today, they remain private. And they are heartfelt and genuine. They know that I'm sincere in everything I say. And they know that I'm not a threat to anybody. They know this. And they know that I'm not trying to bullshit them. I care about them as individuals. I care about them as people. I'm not using them to, sharpen my image or improve my image on social media because I'm such an insecure, lousy fuck. No, I actually care about people, and when I say that, I mean it. That's why you don't see my name anywhere on social media regarding, hey, Jared Fuller helped this family, that family. Because when I preach integrity, I actually fucking mean it. Tom Mitchell can't say that. Milk Tyson can't say that. Ronnie Duvall can't say that. None of these other people who call themselves advocates, they can't say that. They can't say that. Especially if they're helping other people, they can't fucking say it. They can't say that, you know what? I have helped people behind closed doors. I have helped people when the cameras were shut off. No, everything they do needs airtime on the radio, on television, podcast, magazine column inches, newspaper column inches. They have to have their faces and their names plastered all over every fucking thing. It's never enough to actually just help somebody and just be happy doing that. No, you got to get the pat on the back. You got to have the photo shoot. You got to have this and the that's. You people are insecure pieces of fucking shit. Oh, and by the way, like Tom Mitchell, what he's been doing for any number of years, and Milk Tyson, what he's been doing for any number of years, Ronnie Duvall, you name them, they're out there doing this. They're using children as marketing tools. That's exactly what's going on. I'm telling you, they're using children as marketing tools, playing on your emotions, embellishing on stories, so they can get you to donate to their cause. So that way, when you donate to their nonprofit organization, they're going to be touting about all the people they helped, all the money they've raised, all the money they've shelled out to families helping them. They are going to use your downfall, and they're going to prey on your gullibility so they can make themselves look like fucking heroes. And most people don't have a problem with that. I do, because I actually care about the people. How many other people in the childhood cancer world can really and truly and honestly say, I care about these people with all my heart and with everything I have? Really? You got a funny way of fucking showing it. If I take money out of my own fucking pocket and I mail it to somebody, which I have, by the way, I'm not going to go on Facebook or elsewhere, because I don't have Facebook anymore, but I'm not going to go, even here on YouTube, I'm not going to come on here or go somewhere else and say, yep, because I'm such a beautiful, wonderful person, I gave such and such amount of money to such and such person who lives in such and such location, state, city, whatever. That doesn't need to go out there. That doesn't need to go out there. And furthermore, if you're running a nonprofit organization, transparency only matters to the federal government, because you're tied in with the federal government. You have to show the federal government where the money goes, how the money is being used. You're tied in with the feds. They have to know. You got to go through the federal government to be approved for a 501c3. Is it really that hard? Yeah, okay, you can share a link to your nonprofit organization and say, please donate. And, you know, if you can donate, please do. I would appreciate it. That's different. But when you're going on Facebook, you're taking pictures of checks. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 checks. What the fuck? Who cares? Who cares? Again, that's not jealousy. That's discontent. That's discontent. Because I would never in my life have money laying out where and writing people's names, having their names being visible to the people I'm going to fucking help. I would never do that. I have never done that. You have got to be kidding me. Wow. 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 Children are marketing tools. They're not even children anymore. They're marketing tools. They lose their identity when you parents allow for your kids, whether they're sick or they're survivors or even if they're dead, you're allowing your children to become marketing tools for these insecure fucks who think they have this neurotic need to be number one all the fucking time. And it's disgusting. Why can't you see that? What is it about you people where you can't see the forest for the trees? I just don't get it. You value money over children? You value popularity and fame over your own kids? Your children are sick. Your children are dying. Your children have died. They're gone. You care more about being popular? You care more about living vicariously through kids? See, this is why, for me, this is so personal. That's why it's so personal for me, because, again, I've lived through that. I've had to go through the horrible, horrible, nightmarish, just bullshit with chemo and radiation and everything and anything in between. I've had to go through every fucking bit of that myself. And I'm sorry that you think I should be trying to posture myself as this greatest American hero, or I should have some kind of gold ribbon hysteria. Well, I fucking don't, okay? I care more about your kids than anything else. There was a point when I was an advocate, or when I called myself an advocate, there was a point when I put that before my own needs. And that's no bullshit. I bent over backwards, and I'm proud of the work I've done. I'm proud of all the things that I've done to help other people. I'm proud of that. But that's internal. That's not external. In other words, meaning I don't get my good feeling from thumbs and hearts on social media, these popularity indicators. It doesn't do shit for me. And people who are much older than I am, like Tom Mitchell, should fucking know better, because he grew up in a different generation than social media. He should know better. Most people who are grown should fucking know better. Most people over 30 should fucking know better. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's frustrating, to say the very least. And I just can't emphasize enough how frustrating it is to watch people do things for the wrong reasons. Everybody is competing with each other. Everybody's trying to outdo each other. Everybody has a neurotic need to be number one in everything, and it's sad. I would like to think that these people started out with the best of intentions, and then they let this egocentric fucking popularity game take over, and then they lost sight of what they were really and truly out to do in the first place. What they were actually set out to do. They lost sight of that. Now, I'll go on record right now as saying that at one time, I had a certain amount of respect for Tom Mitchell, because I know he's listening to this. I used to respect the guy. I used to have an enormous amount of respect for him. And I would still like to have a conversation with the guy. But it's going to start with an apology first, because if he's not going to apologize, conversation's done. So Tom, if you're listening, you owe me an apology. And I know I'll never get it, because your ego won't allow that to happen. You're too busy looking like a pretty boy in front of everybody. You love the fact that all these people are sucking your balls. You just love it. And I think it's grotesque that we put a person's well-being to the side. That a child's well-being has to come in second to a person's ego. To me, that's really fucking sick. Who does that? I don't have an ego. And honestly, to tell you the truth, when I was an advocate, or when I carried that name, that label, I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. It was virtue signaling. And I wouldn't have ever admitted that before, but seems I'm more mature than most of these people. I'm going to tell you that's exactly what it was. It was virtue signaling. Nothing more. Because I'm going to tell you right now, none of this is going to change with childhood cancer. We're not going to see improvements. You people who are just naive and thinking that, well, if only I post about 20 more gold ribbons to my social media, if only I write this letter to this representative, this congressperson, that, or whatever, if only I do this. Sorry, guys. I had to wake up to that reality a long time ago. This is never going to change. And deep down, I think that you know this too. You know this too. And the worst case scenario is that it keeps you looking good, because you will do anything for the attention. You know that this is never going to change. So perpetually, that puts you right back out there again. So you can put on a show, you can praise yourself and expect other people to, kiss your feet and suck your balls. You expect this because you know deep down this is never going to change. That's why you keep going back out there. That's your driving point. That's your driving mechanism for your popularity. Because you know this isn't going to change. And the least case scenario is that you're going to come out smelling like roses. You're going to come out looking like a poster child for childhood cancer. And, most of you have heard the name Sadie Keller. I love and adore Sadie to pieces. I love and adore her to pieces. But I got to say this. Her standing in the same room with Donald Trump was nothing more than a look at me moment. It doesn't mean shit. So she stood in the fucking same room as Donald Trump. Who cares? I love you, Sadie. You're a good girl. You do a lot to put smiles on the faces of other kids. But that you standing in a room with Donald Trump, that was nothing more than a look at me moment. That's it. That's all I got. I'm not impressed. Sorry, not sorry. That's just the way it is. Because this is not going to change. You people have got to understand. You've got to be aware of this. Stop playing these games and thinking, well, yeah, if only we do this, if only we write letters to the senator or this congressman, or if we can get this law passed, or it's not going to make a bit of fucking difference. You guys have got to wake up. You've got to wake up to that. You aren't going to do anything to change. You alone are not going to change a fucking thing in Washington. I'm sorry. You're not going to do it. You can march at CareFest and you can compare clothing and you can look good in front of a fucking camera on the CBS Evening News. It doesn't make a bit of fucking difference to the, because you're doing this for the cause, right? That's anytime I hear someone say that, well, I'm doing this for the cause, that's keywords for I'm doing this to make myself look good. Fuck you and your cause. A child's well-being should never have to come in second to a person with a fucking ego problem, to a person with insecurity issues. Because you care more about having your dick sucked than you actually care about people. That's sick. It's really sick. It's almost like you're pimping these kids out. That's what it looks like to me. It's like you're pimping these children out for popularity. These kids didn't ask to be in these positions. They didn't. And all these parents, well, I would have done everything to save my kid. I'm not saying you wouldn't have. I'm not going to deny that or denounce that. I agree. As a parent, I would do everything I could. I would turn over every fucking rock if it was my kid. My parents did when I was sick. They did everything they had to do to make sure that I would be okay, to make sure that I was comfortable and I was being fed and that I had, all the essential things that I needed. My parents did everything they had to do to make sure that I would be okay, or to at least make sure that I'd be comfortable and that I had the essential things I needed. They stopped at nothing when I had cancer. And that's why I care more about the people. I care more about the kids, the human beings. They are still human beings. They're not fucking pawns. They're not little cult objects. There's this weird fetish with kids, this weird fucking fetish with children. I don't understand it. But on top of the child fetish, you have gold ribbon hysteria. To me, it's really fucking weird. Something is not right with this. And yeah, I gave up advocacy back in 2019. And for good reason. For good reason. I had plenty of reasons. Plenty of good reasons. I don't know, man. I just, it just burns my ass. It just really grills me. I was talking with another oncology mother, a friend of mine, and I don't want to give, I'm not giving, going to give away a name or anything, but there's another cancer warrior who lives in her hometown. And this kid's mom, although the child is healed, the kid's not in treatment anymore, this mother, not my friend, but it's someone that my friend knows. This someone is still using her kid to milk attention, to have her kid's face plastered all over the place, get the name plastered all over the place. You know what? Let your kid be a fucking kid now. It's time to let your child actually be a child and let them experience being children. Of course, with exceptions, because when you're coming off treatment, yeah, you're going to have after effects, I'm sure. And there's some limitations to letting your kids be kids. But to the absolute maximum that they can be kids, you should let them have that and not continue to milk that for what it's worth. And it's really a shame. It really just irks me. It really grinds my fucking gears to the point of no return. To the point of no return. But I just, my feelings about childhood cancer awareness have really, really changed. And I just don't feel the same way as I did 2 years ago when I still called myself an advocate. I don't mind calling myself a survivor because that's what I am. But an advocate, no. And I've had any number of people tell me, well, you know what, Jared, you can still be an advocate, but you don't have to be on the internet to do it. You can do it off social media. I'm not an advocate, period. I'm fucking done. I'm done with that game. I'm done with that little facade. I'm done with the fucking dog and pony show. I'm done. People are disrespectful. They're rotten. They treat people poorly because you don't fit in with their clique. You don't share the same thoughts and ideas and opinions. Thank you. That's a compliment to me. That's music to my ears. Oh, Jared doesn't fit in. He doesn't conform. You're goddamn right I don't. Because, I just happen to think that a child's well-being should be the number one priority above and beyond everything else there is. Popularity, television airtime, radio airtime. Oh, and a podcast, which is just nothing more than a fucking hobby. It's a podcast. It's not radio. It's a podcast. Some people care more about imagery than they care about well-being. And I've heard this argument, I don't know how many times. Well, even if they do look good, Jared, the good deed is still being done. I don't care if they want to use this to look good. So you don't care that your child has become a marketing tool. You don't mind that your child is being used as leverage in someone's insecurity. You don't mind that children are being used to stroke someone else's ego. You don't mind that. You don't mind the fact that your kids are sycophants to particular people. You don't mind that. I don't want people to be sycophants to me. I want to be the guy, or not the guy, but a guy, a guy who says, look, I've been there and done that. I know what you're going through. I know what your child is going through. And if you need me, I'm here. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about looking popularity and imagery. That shit does not matter to me at all whatsoever. And it just doesn't. I care about you as an individual. I care about your children because I was in your kid's shoes. And I may not agree with a lot of the things going on. I don't agree with a lot of the preconceived notions and opinions and adopted illusions that everybody else has about childhood cancer, and we all have to speak the same language like robots. I'm not a fucking robot. I don't follow that particular style trend, if you catch my drift. I don't follow the in crowd. I don't fit in with these people. I can relate to them, but I don't fit in with them. Difference. And that's probably as far as it goes. I don't care about not fitting in. I don't give a fuck. I don't need to fit in. I don't have to fit in with your special little club and your cult like the Two Feathers Society, which is a cult. I don't have to fit in with FAM. I don't have to fit in with the Pediatric Compass Foundation. The Pediatric Compass Foundation. Another special interest group. You know what that is? They want to, all these people are forming their own little cliques and their own little groups because that's evidence right there. They're competing with each other. They're trying to outdo each other. It's a fucking joke. It's a circus. The Pediatric Compass Foundation. Seriously? Really? Wow. How more insecure can you people be? That you have to form these little clubs and cliques, special interest groups, and somehow you all owe each other your allegiance. You're fucking stupid. Tom Mitchell's name was mentioned in a book that Sadie Keller had published. Oh, that just tickles his fancy. That just makes his ego inflated more and more and more and more and more and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I've had my name published in a newspaper. Sure, I wrote a poem and it was published in the paper, but you know what? You didn't see and hear me touting about it. And if I did, I only told certain friends about it, like, hey, look out, because it was in the local paper. And this was back in 2012. And I said, hey, just keep your eyes peeled for this. There's one of my poems made the paper. And it was about the Sandy Hook tragedy. But I don't feel like I'm a star. I don't think I'm above and beyond everybody else just because I had a poem published in the newspaper. I mean, it was different, and it was a thrill for me, yeah, to have one of my poems published, but I didn't go around acting like I was fucking, Mother Superior. I don't go around acting like I'm, morally superior than everybody else because I've accomplished something. Come on. And I wasn't using the tragedy of Sandy Hook to, I wasn't using that as a crutch for popularity. It was news. It was considered news, which is why they published it. But even still, I mean, it's really a shame. It's really a shame that the well-being of children comes in second to grown people who are insecure. They have this weird child fetish, this gold ribbon hysteria. They have this neurotic fixation to be number one in everything all the time. It's fucking sick. And your kids are marketing tools for whatever they got going. They try to get money from people. Just like if you go on the Still Brave website, he's got pictures of all the kids that he's quote-unquote sponsoring, this Tom Mitchell. Put on a nice bright neon pink tutu when you go out there running, because nothing is going to change. The only thing that changes is your image. Look at me, I ran in a fucking race, and it has nothing to do with childhood cancer. Nothing. The Moab has nothing to do with childhood cancer. It's a fucking race. It's not his race. It's the people who put the race on, and it's the people who participate, which is not just Tom Mitchell. It's several other people, and it's not for childhood cancer. He's not going to tell you that. He's going to lie to you. He's going to embellish on a story, and he's going to try to tell you something different than what it actually is. Because he wants your attention, he wants to win a popularity contest, and he's willing to use your kids to do it. He's going to hold your children hostage until he makes himself look good. Milk Tyson's doing the same thing. Milk Tyson, he uses Corey Register as a crutch for attention. And if you're going to sit here and shake your head no and blah, 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 tell me that I'm wrong, you're fucking nuts. Milk Tyson uses Corey Bree Register and her death as a crutch for attention. And it's sick. And if the family of Corey Register is listening to this, my love and condolences go out to you, but I think it's fucking sick that Milk Tyson is going to use your daughter who died, he's going to use your dead daughter as a crutch for popularity and attention because it's going to resonate with people who are bleeding hearts anyway, right? It's going to resonate with those people. And furthermore, Brenda Hunderfund, or however the fuck you say her last name, I have no clue. I'm butchering it, and I really don't care at this point. What the fuck is Milk Tyson doing talking to an underage girl all hours of the night on Messenger? A little girl. He has no business speaking to an underage kid anywhere. And the fact that he's talking to an underage girl in Messenger and all hours of the fucking night? What, are you kidding me? And the parent, where the fuck are the parents? Where are you when all this is happening? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And people take issue to me writing poetry, which, listen, I've been a writer for well over 20 years. I've had lots and lots and lots of practice. I know what words mean. I'm very, eloquent in my language and my vocabulary. I know exactly what I'm saying. I know what words mean. I'm not a fool. I've been writing for well over 20 fucking years. They want to fuss over me writing a poem. But yet this guy who admits to sexual harassment, blackmail, extortion, somehow that's okay. Isn't that right, Lori Libby? Yeah, I'm going to talk about you again. Because you don't seem to have a problem with him either. You were defending him in an email. That scumbag motherfucker, you were emailing him. Or you were defending him. I'm sorry. You were defending him in an email to me. Leave him alone. He's a good guy. He's a piece of fucking shit. Sooner or later, Lori, you're gonna wake up to this. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna find out exactly what I'm talking about. And the reason I didn't block your email is because I know one day you will apologize. And being the kind of guy I am, I will accept your apology. Absolutely. Oh, and one last thing before I go, because I've been here for quite a long time. Justina Banks, I know you're listening, bitch. You gonna have a selfie for us to see? Or are we still gonna have to fight you on being dishonest? Come clean, you fucking cunt. Come clean. Show us who you are. And for the people who have interactions with Justina Banks, which, by the way, not a real name, not a real person, this Justina Banks has been shooting off at her filthy cocksucker about me for months on Facebook, saying all kinds of horrible, derogatory shit about me, Talking about Milk Tyson too, which I don't care. Milk Tyson deserves every fucking bit of what he has coming to him. But the lies about me, saying shit that I've allegedly said and done when I never said and done it. If you have interactions with Justina Banks, I want you to not only ask for evidence, but to show a selfie. Push Justina Banks on getting a selfie. Because I'm telling you, if they're not willing to provide a selfie for you, then they're lying to you. They want you to believe things, but they're not willing to show their true identity. Imagine that, right? They don't want to show their true identity, but they want you to believe everything they fucking spoon feed to you. That to me doesn't make any sense. You people really need to wake up, start putting one and one together, start demanding shit from people, and stop fucking around. Start doing shit the right way. Because there's a lot of us out here who are sick and fucking tired of dealing with the same bullshit over and over and over again. And I gotta get emails from it and text messages about this. I'm sick of it. People need to start growing the fuck up. But anyway, that's my rant for today, guys. Whew, got a lot out there. This is always going to bother me until people start to wake up and realize exactly what the fuck they're getting themselves into. Stop giving Tom Mitchell and Milk Tyson and all these other guys, stop giving them a reason to reproduce themselves. Stop allowing for these people to use your children as sycophants, as pawns, as leverage, because they're competing with each other, trying to make names for themselves at your expense and your child's expense. This shit needs to stop. And it needs to stop now. Much love. Thanks for stopping in and indulging me for a little while. My name is Jared Fuller, a.k.a. Jared. Don't forget to subscribe. And keep it tuned right here. There will be more content to come in the future. So, as I always say at the end of every Daily Rant recording, toodaloo!